In this video essay, I'm going to focus on the horror genre and one film in particular, Get Out, one of the best horror films in the history of American cinema. I will demonstrate this statement through research of articles like How Post-Horror Movies Are Taken Over and books such as Horror by Bridget Cherry. Released in 2017, Get Out is written and directed by Jordan Peele, who is widely recognised for his work within the genre already, with films such as Us and most recently Nope. Get Out is set in modern-day America and follows Chris, played by Daniel Kaluuya, as he travels home with his girlfriend Alison Williams to meet her parents. As the initial storyline is created and the characters are developed, we are constantly reassured that our parents are in no way, shape or form racist. However, as the story develops, spoiler, it turns out that they are, and we find Chris is being hypnotised and later kidnapped and informed that his body is going to be used by an older gentleman. Literally, his soul is going into Chris's body. But firstly, a discussion on the horror genre itself. Cherry sets out the aims of a horror film in her book, saying they aim to shock, scare, revolt or otherwise horrify the viewer. Get Out effectively ticks off each item on that list, more successfully in some scenes than others, which I'll explain soon. According to Chapter 1 of Horror written by Cherry, there are 7 subcategories of the horror genre. We have the gothic, the supernatural, the monster movie, the slasher, of course, the psychological, the body horror or gore, and finally the exploitation cinema. It may be hard to believe, but Get Out does in fact carry connotations of each subcategory, further confirming its greatness as a horror film. The opening scene is very short, however ticks a lot of the boxes of these subcategories. We have psychological horror, slasher and exploitation. Let me explain. We are met with a man, played by Lakeith Stanfield, walking alone in the dark, trying to find his way. Soon a car begins to follow him, slowly but deliberately keeping pace with his walking. This has slight connotations of a slasher. The description of a slasher is someone being stalked, and this is exactly the way our character is being singled out by a predator. The song Run Rabbit is a main part of this scene as well. It plays from the car repeatedly. This is where the psychological part comes in. Firstly, it seems to be an uplifting tune, and the history of the song is exactly that. It was a song dedicated to the British soldiers in World War II. It was a morale boost. However, the juxtaposition of the song and the darkness of the ominous suspense in the footage effectively creates a thrilling and unsettling tone. It's even more interesting when you listen to the lyrics. The song was written about a farmer trying to kill a rabbit. An article from the Collider emphasises an incredibly accurate point with this song and its meaning to the film. The innocent rabbit is only trying to survive. It's running away from this predatory farmer who is having his fun in the killing. In the case of Get Out, Andre is the rabbit, while the farmer, who we later find out is the girlfriend's brother, is looking to harvest his body. This scene effectively shows the connotations of many horror subcategories and expertly combines them to create a compelling modern-day horror movie scene. We are introduced to the tone of the supernatural in this scene, and once again we are met with psychological thrill and even the approach and feel of a gothic horror. Chris wakes up during the night and explores the family home as you would, until he bumps into the mother. She initiates a therapy session, and before he knows it, he's reluctantly sitting across from her in her treatment room. With performance, setting and action codes, this idea is quickly stripped away though, leaving Chris and the audience feeling extremely vulnerable and apprehensive. Daniel Kaluuya gives a great performance crying in this scene. We are able to see his vulnerability, exposing the weakness that only adds to this psychological tension as we, as an audience, feel unsettled and impotent. We are then introduced to the sunken place in a shortcut. Cherry explains that a shortcut occurs when the audience can see what is happening in a scene but are unable to do anything about it. We become aggravated, we're shouting at the screen. The psychology of this scene is successful and extremely compelling as we have tunnel vision. We only see Chris and his pain. He's struggling. He is a victim. The entirety of action codes within this scene impact the rest of the film and helps create paranoia in a character. Paranoia is one of the main traits of a gothic horror genre, and therefore Get Out can tick another box, get another title, get another success. This ending has to be one of the most effective ones I have ever seen. Not only are we rewarded with body gore and psychological tension, we're given a harsh reality check into the lives of many people. Let's discuss. After Chris finally escapes the family home, he finds himself on their expansive driveway. It's dark and surrounded by wooded areas. Already, this creates this classic horror movie setting, as we don't know who or what could emerge from these woods. The body gore is effective but not overwhelming in this scene. We see people being shot and killed, yet it doesn't overshadow the plot or dialogue and storyline. A police car then comes into shot. So many things going through your head. Who could this be? The racist police officer from earlier?
He wasn't driving.
Will Rose try and blame this whole situation on Chris? Luckily, it's his sceptical best friend who's been searching for Chris ever since he went missing, not fully trusting his girlfriend. We are adequately given a sense of relief. The evil is dead, our victim is safe. However, the biggest horror is left unsaid. After all Chris has been through, he is still going back to an unchanged society. He will still face racial discrimination, worry about meeting new parents if he even thinks of dating again, period. The evil of the world is not dead, and there are many people in the world that are just as discriminatory and racist as the family he unfortunately just spent the weekend with. Jordan Peele does an extremely impressive job of combining the horror of reality with a horrific and unbelievable fictional story. Overall, Get Out is an insanely amazing piece of modern horror, one of the best of this generation. Not only does it unsettle audiences to crazy extents, it shows the truth behind race issues and psychology. It ticks several boxes in Cherry's subcategories of horror, when a lot of modern Hollywood horrors only focus on one. Thank you so much for listening.